Hello, how are you guys? So, the news just came out that the chief marketing executive at Anheuser-Busch has stepped down. Okay, so this news came out the same day that Steven Crowder released information. So apparently they have an investigative journalist division over there at Louder with Crowder, and they've been doing some really interesting work. And one of the things that they uncovered, so they got documentation from an inside source that Bud Light paid Dylan Mulvaney $185,000 to do that Bud Light social media post campaign, whatever it was. So that means two things. Number one, they paid a lot of money to Dylan Mulvaney. And number two, they were not really honest when they tried to kind of backtrack or say, oh, this wasn't meant to be any sort of campaign. That is a lot of money. That amount of money means that they were expecting this to be very successful, and it just didn't turn out the way that they thought. In fact, they have been losing lots of money. I still cannot get over $185,000 to I'm in the wrong business, clearly. But that means that they thought that this was going to be successful, and they learned the hard way. I will say this though, Dana White, obviously he's the head of UFC. Dana White actually did a contract with Bud Light, and I think this is important to point out too. And a lot of people are saying, why did you do this contract with Bud Light? We're boycotting Bud Light, blah, blah, blah. And he made a great point. He's like, look, not everyone that works for Bud Light agrees with this. This was clearly a decision that was made with the higher ups. But Anheuser-Busch is filled with a lot of American people. They make products here in America. They give a lot of Americans jobs. I think they do things with vets. So they do a lot of really good things. And I agree with Dana White that I don't think that decision reflects, obviously, everyone in the company, and obviously even every executive with the company. And he did say, you know, I can look beyond that, and I can look for the greater good and what they do, which I thought was really commendable, because I think it's really easy to go with whatever the crowd is doing in that sense, and he stood by his belief. Also, this is kind of interesting too. Kid Rock was recently on Hannity. I saw this clip going around online, and over the weekend, you know, that picture came out with Donald Trump, Tucker Carlson, Kid Rock, Dana White, all going to the UFC fight at Madison Square Garden. And Kid Rock was telling a story that while they were there, they were actually sitting right in front of, I believe it was the CEO of Anheuser-Busch or Bud Light, however that goes, but it was a big higher up. And Kid Rock actually said that he went and talked to the guy and said, you know, we just want people to stay out of politics. This was such, you know, whether you love or hate Dylan Mulvaney or don't care at all, I think it's easy to say that right now where our culture is, that's a very polarizing figure. So to have such a big American brand, a brand that's known for, you know, good old boys drink that beer, that was just such an odd, weird decision, and people just want you to stay out of it. So I think that they probably learned their lesson, and I still cannot get over just that sheer amount of money for a social media post. And so I think they learned their lesson, and now we know that this was in fact a paid thing. And I think that it's just safe to just stay out of the politics, stay away from the figures that are really polarizing. If you're a brand that is known for bringing people together, we need more of this, of bringing together, not pulling apart. $185,000. Jeez.